It doesn't arrive the way you think it will. No lightning bolt, no single morning where everything snaps into focus and the path forward writes itself in clean, simple sentences. It arrives the way most real things do. Sideways, quietly, while you're doing something entirely unrelated. You're 24 years old. You take home $3,400 a month from a job that is, by every reasonable measure, fine. You like your coworkers, you respect your manager. The commute is 22 minutes door to door. The benefits are good. And every Sunday evening, around 7 p.m., something settles in your chest that you've learned not to look at too directly. Not dread exactly. More like the specific, quiet weight of knowing that tomorrow will look exactly like today. You are good at something. Something the market would pay more for than your employer does. You've known this for a while without doing anything about it, the way people know a lot of true things without acting on them. But one afternoon, a coworker says, casually, almost parenthetically, "You could do this on your own, you know." And something about the way she says it, like it's obvious, like she's surprised you haven't already, lodges somewhere in you that you can't shake loose. 3 weeks later, you open a tab, then another, a domain registrar, an LLC filing service. The barrier to entry is lower than you imagined. $14 for the domain, $150 for the LLC, $29 a month for the software. You've spent more on a weekend without thinking about it. You close the laptop. You go to bed. You cannot sleep. The first rule at this level: the idea is not the hard part. The moment you realize the excuse you've been waiting for doesn't exist, that's when it starts. Level 2, the first dollar. The first client doesn't come from a pitch deck. It comes from a text message. A friend of a friend who needs something you can do. The project is $800. You're still employed. You do the work before 8 a.m. and after 9 p.m. And on a Saturday, you told yourself you'd rest. You deliver it clean and on time. They pay within 48 hours. The money lands in your business checking account. Separate account. You did that right. And you stare at the number longer than you'll admit to anyone. $800. Not because $800 changes anything. Your monthly expenses alone are $2,900. $800 is noise. What $800 is proof. The market paid you directly for something you built. No employer in the middle. No performance review in 6 months to negotiate a 3% raise. You priced a thing, a stranger agreed, and the money moved. You get 2 more clients that month. $1,600 more. Total outside income, month 1, $2,400. You don't spend it. You let it sit in the account like evidence. You open the app before bed the way some people check the weather. Not because you need to, because you want to confirm it's still there, that it happened, that this is real. You tell one person. They say nice work and change the subject. They don't understand what this is. That's fine. You don't need them to. The second rule at this level: the first dollar doesn't prove you can make money. It proves the model works. That's a bigger thing than it sounds. One is about income. The other is about identity. The identity part is what compounds. Level 3, the grind. Month 14. Revenue is $4,800 this month. Some months it's $3,900. One month it hit $6,200 and you thought you'd broken something open. Then it settled back to $4,400. The ceiling isn't a wall, it's a fog. Every time you think you've touched it, it shifts. You quit your job in February, gave 3 weeks' notice, sat across from your manager in a glass-walled conference room, and said the words you'd rehearsed for 4 months. He was surprised. He asked if there was anything he could do. You said no, genuinely, and meant it. You walked to your car after the meeting and sat there for 6 minutes before starting the engine. Your first week of full-time operation, the freedom is real. the panic underneath it is also real. By day 4, you filled every open hour with work because the alternative, sitting with unstructured time and trusting it will be okay, is harder than the work itself. You are doing everything. Client delivery, invoicing, marketing, admin, proposals, follow-up emails. You have a Notion workspace with 47 pages in it and a Slack you check compulsively, and a Google Drive that contains your entire business in a folder structure only you can navigate. If something happened to you tomorrow, the whole thing would take weeks to untangle. You know this. You've known it for 5 months. You keep saying you'll fix it next month. There's a night in October where you sit on the floor of your office, a corner of your bedroom with a standing desk from Amazon, and a ring light you never quite positioned correctly, and you do the real math. Not the revenue math, the hours math. You have worked, on average, 61 hours a week since leaving your job. You are making less per hour than you did as an employee. You are also building something. Both of those things are true at the same time. They feel impossible to hold together. Your partner asks you one evening when you're going to feel like it's working. You say, "It is working." They look at you, then at your laptop, then back at you. Nobody says anything else. You go back to the screen. The third rule at this level: $5,000 a month feels like proof. It is, but it's proof you built a job, not a business. The two look identical from the outside. From the inside, one of them owns you. Level 4, the ceiling. Revenue plateaus at $12,000 for 3 straight months. Not because the market dried up. Not because your work got worse. Because you are one person and there are only so many hours in a day, and you've now filled all of them, and there is nowhere left to grow inside a system that runs entirely through your hands. You know what the answer is. You've known for months. You need to hire someone. You don't hire someone for 4 more months, because hiring someone means trusting someone with the thing you built alone at 6 a.m. before the rest of the world was awake. It means handing access to your clients, your processes, your brand voice, the version of you the market has been paying for. It means accepting that you are not irreplaceable inside your own business. That someone else could do parts of this, maybe better. That last part is the one that sits wrong. You put a job post up on a Tuesday. You feel uneasy the whole time you're writing it. You interview 6 people. You hire one. Her name is Danielle. She's organized in a way that makes your systems look like improvisation, which they are. She starts on a Monday. By Wednesday, she's identified 3 things you've been doing inefficiently for over a year. She doesn't frame it as criticism. She fixes them quietly and sends you a voice memo explaining what she changed and why. You listen to the voice memo twice. You feel grateful. And underneath the gratitude, the first loosening of something that's been tight in your chest for 18 months straight. The 4th rule at this level: the ceiling is not made of market conditions or competition. It's made of you. Breaking through it means releasing the belief that doing it yourself is the same as doing it right. It isn't. It never was. Level 5, the leverage. You have 4 people now. Danielle manages the other 3. You manage Danielle, the direction, and every decision that requires context no one else in the company has yet. Revenue last month, $31,000. Here is what nobody tells you about this level. The growth doesn't feel like winning. It feels like distance. You are further from the work that made you fall in love with this in the first place. The skill that started all of it, the specific thing you were good at, the reason the first $800 landed, is now done by someone else. Done well. Done in a way that's indistinguishable from how you would have done it. That should feel like success. It mostly does. There's a specific late-night feeling it doesn't reach. You take a long weekend in Nashville, 3 days, no laptop. You check the dashboard once on Saturday morning, out of habit, the way you'd check a weather app even when you're already indoors. The number hasn't moved. The machine ran without you. You close the app and put your phone face down and order breakfast. You sit with what it means that your absence changes nothing. You know it's the goal. You spend the rest of the weekend actually letting yourself believe it. The 5th rule at this level: the business growing when you leave is not the reward. It is the evidence. Evidence that you built something real, instead of a performance of building something real. Most people spend years in the performance. They call it a company. It isn't. Level 6, the machine. You have 11 people. A head of operations who has been with you for 2 years and understands the business better than you do day to day. Revenue last quarter averaged $68,000 a month. You work 30 hours a week, sometimes less. The 30 hours are entirely decisions, not execution, not delivery. Decisions. A client writes in to say your team changed how they run their business. They address the email to you by name. They mention you 3 times in 4 sentences. You have not spoken to this client once in the last 7 months. Everything they experienced was shaped entirely by people you hired, trained, equipped, and trusted. You forward the email to the team with one line. This is because of you. You close the laptop. You're in Lisbon this week. The apartment costs $210 a night. You expense it without looking at the number. That sentence would have been unimaginable to the person who checked the business account before bed every night just to confirm the $800 was still there. You notice that. You sit with it for a minute. Then you go get coffee and watch the street below and think about the next decision, not the last one. The 6th rule at this level. At some point, you stop being the product and start being the architecture. That transition is worth more than any skill you will ever develop. It also costs you a version of yourself you will miss at unexpected moments. Both things are permanently true. Level 7. The question. You are 34. There is an acquisition offer in your inbox. The number is real. It's not disappear forever money, but it is change the shape of everything money. The kind of number that makes the next decade look different from any version you've imagined until now. You talk to 3 people who've sold before. Each of them says the same thing, in their own words, in a slightly different order. Be sure you know why you're selling. Because the money arrives once. The question doesn't leave with it. It just arrives better funded. You sit with the offer for 3 weeks. And somewhere in those 3 weeks, at 6 a.m. on a Wednesday, drinking coffee you actually taste for once, you understand what the last 10 years were actually for. Not the revenue, not the exit number in your inbox, not the clients whose businesses changed because of something you built. Those are real. But they are not the point. The point is who you had to become to build this. The 24-year-old who opened a browser tab and couldn't sleep could not have run this company, could not have made the hires you made when you weren't sure you could afford them, could not have let go of the work when letting go felt like losing yourself, could not have sat in a glass conference room and resigned from the safe thing and walked to the car and started the engine. You became someone. Not someone the market needed, someone you needed to be. The business was never the destination. It was the pressure. The specific, sustained pressure that turns a person into someone capable of handling what comes next. Every level cost you something you were convinced you couldn't afford to lose. The comfort of the salary. The control of doing it yourself. The identity of being the one who did everything. The hands-on satisfaction of building something directly. Each time the loss was real. Each time what replaced it was more than what you gave up. Whether you sell or don't sell, that part doesn't change what happened. The answer to the question was never going to be in the outcome. It was always in the building. The 7th rule, and the only one that runs through every level. The business doesn't show you who you can become. It shows you who you already are. And then it asks you, quietly, every single day, is that who you want to be? You answer that question with what you do next. Subscribe. You don't want to miss what's coming.